I think for the way he's been campaigned, I'd love to see Hot Rod Charlie just for Doug O'Neill and the fact that he's brought him here as a prep. I could see him just upsetting the favourite.
Just one more to load. It's Real World. 2022 Dubai World Cup is upon us.
US dollars, they all set. Gates crash open and they're racing in the Dubai World Cup to a rather untidy start. Real World was a little bit slow to begin. On the other hand, Life is Good got an absolute flyer. He didn't miss the start, he's in front. Midnight Bourbon is second, then comes Hot Rod Charlie racing third, now fourth as Country Grammar slipped along the inside to get a bit closer. Hypothetical at the outside, the lines of blue colours couldn't get to the lead. Real World, the all blue colours got shaken up to hold the rail. Then comes Aero Trim, the black and white colours with Remorse a further 2 lengths away. Chua Wizard and Magni Core are the last two as they now go towards the back straight, and Life is Good is in front by 1 length over Midnight Bourbon, who races away in second. Country Grammar is third. Hot Rod Charlie in fourth, just got shaken up for a few strides. Hypothetical makes him racy at the outside. Then comes Real World, the all blue colours, racing a good 7 to 8 lengths off the leader. Aero Trim, Magni Cause and the blue body and the white cap. Remorse in that group, and Chua Wizard has got it all to do. Life is Good got the softest lead you could imagine, an uncontested lead. Life is Good is in front by just over 1 length. Midnight Bourbon in the maroon colours is second, couple of lengths away to Hypothetical. Some of these runners are badly off the bit. Country Grammar's against the rail, now third. Hypothetical drops into fourth. Alarm bells are ringing for Hot Rod Charlie. Then comes Real World. Remorses in the gold silks. Couple of lengths away then to Chua Wizard. Magni Cause towards the end of the field, and they're about to spin for home. They go to the top of the straight. They got just over 400 metres left to run, and Life is Good guides them into the home straight. Now gets asked a question, but he's kicked 2 lengths clear of Midnight Bourbon, who's second. Country Grammar third. Hot Rod Charlie's towards the inside rail. Then comes Chua Wizard. 200 metres out, Life is Good is the leader. Country Grammar second. Hot Rod Charlie continues to gain ground towards the inside. Life is Good with a target on his back. Country Grammar getting the upper hand, draws alongside, and Country Grammar with his dates with destiny in front a length and a half. Country Grammar won the Dubai World Cup. Hot Rod Charlie ran second, Chua Wizard third. Life is Good didn't go the 2,000 metres, ran fourth. Midnight Bourbon, then came Remorse, Aero Trim, Hypothetical. They were ahead of Real World and Magni Core. Country Grammar and Frankie Dettori for Bob Baffert wins the 2022 Dubai World Cup, sponsored by Emirates Airline. His date with destiny. He's now won the big one after a cracking run in the Saudi.
Frankie Dettori, Bob Baffert, Country Grammar has won the Dubai World Cup. That's a 4th win in the race for trainer Bob Baffert. What a victory. Great celebration from Frankie. Wow, that would have felt like a long last couple of furlongs for a few of them, Chad. Life is Good. He got very tired.
And really no excuses. He got a clear lead. He set reasonable fractions, and he saw out the 1800 no problem like he did in the Pegasus, but after the 1800 he started getting a little bit late, and the cavalry was coming. Country Grammar from the outside, and Hot Rod Charlie somehow got back in the race on the inside, but Country Grammar got it up in time.
Yeah, it was interesting because Hot Rod Charlie swinging in, we were kind of going, he's suspend force. He dropped back to 5th or 6th and managed to get back up there. Charles the Wizard, I don't know where he came from. He ended up being 2nd or 3rd, I think. Yeah, it all happened quite late on. There was a lot of horses, stamina-wise, that were just getting tired.
The one thing that Bob Baffert has said since the beginning, though, is this horse wants 2 turns. The further the distance, the better. Life is Good. There was questions about the distance. There was never questions about the distance. It was just whether or not he can replicate that form from Saudi, and boy, did he.
Yeah, he did. And like you say, there's been question marks over that Saudi run. I just felt the track here would suit him better. You know, he was always beautifully positioned by Frankie.
You see here, Life is Good is drifting out again like he's done in so many of his races. I'm not saying that's going to cost him the race, but it might cost him second here. He just can't maintain that straight line in the stretch. He's done it every time in America.
It's interesting that you say that. He drifts out to the right. And Irad Ortiz has got his, I don't want to criticise him, but he's got his stick in his left hand. So it's kind of as if he's hitting him that way.
Hot Rod Charlie finishes second. In a way, the worst place to be, really. But beaten by this horse, and we've got to give the horse plenty of credit. He was coming back off a 9-month absence when he ran that excellent second in the Saudi Cup. Prior to that, he was a Grade 1 winner. It came in the Hollywood Gold Cup. and he's done this again for Frankie Dettori, who of course has a great record in this race, mainly for Saeed bin Saror. And this will mean an awful lot to him, you'd think, because he's had so many big days in Dubai, but to come back and do it again at the age of, 52, he's going to be pretty chuffed.
Still the greatest, by far. He's still the greatest. He was the greatest when I started riding, and he's still the greatest now. I don't think we'll ever see anyone match him, not only his riding ability, but his personality on a racetrack.
He's actually his 4th win in the race, equaling the record held by Jerry Bailey for most wins. It's his first since 2006, though. That was on Electrocutionist. And this horse only had 10 starts now, won 4 of them. And where will he go now, Chad? I mean, there's so many big races in America for them to target. Will they work back from the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Well, I'd say he won't run for the next 90 days, right? That's for sure. Look, the fact that Bob Baffert's been able to do this with the cloud that's been hanging over his head back in America with everything that went on, and to just maintain business as business is. He sent Jimmy Barnes out here. He sent his best exercise rider out here. They went from Saudi. They've had this targeted the whole time since Amr Zendon bought into this horse back in December, that they were going to go take on the Middle East. And look, he ran 2nd in Saudi. He wins this race here. You really do have to tip your cap to Bob Baffert, because it's not easy to train when you have so much going on in your head. And to compartmentalize what he's been able to do is really, really amazing.
Yeah, I think as well, and full credit to the connections, because I saw an interview in Saudi. The owner was fully behind Bob, and like I say, it's very hard for him, with, like you say, with everything that's going on over his head, and to prep these horses in the way he does. The guy's a genius. I mean, he's won this. I think that's his 4th win now. So
Ahmed Zidane is here this evening. I'd be surprised if he isn't. Big supporter of equestrian sport in the UAE with polo as well, and a very eloquent man, a very nice man to talk to. I'm hoping he's here enjoying this victory. And you feel a bit for Flavien Prat, perhaps, ridden this horse his last 2 starts?
Look, it wasn't necessarily a difficult decision for him. And look, Hot Rod Charlie, and we'll watch the replay back here in a little bit, he got the worst of the kickback. He checked himself out. I mean, Hot Rod Charlie runs an unbelievable race to get back up for 2nd. So, yeah, Flavien will be a little bit upset for a 2nd. That's a big purse, but no harm in the ride there from Hot Rod Charlie at all.
No, and you say Flavien will probably be kicking himself. I don't think Frankie was first choice when Flavien didn't ride this. I've got a funny feeling William Buick was booked to ride this horse, and then he obviously had to ride the Godolphin horse, and then Frankie got taken off Real World, so it was like a jockey's merry-go-round. So I don't think they actually had a rider up until the 12th hour for this horse.
Look, there was a long time where Louis Saez thought he was going to ride the horse as well. He ends up sitting in the hotel now watching the World Cup from home. But look, at the end of the day, this is a really, really nice horse. It was always meant to be a nice horse. This horse started his career with Chad Brown. So 2 wins on the night for former Chad Brown horses with Switzerland and Country Grammar. Unfortunately, the owner of this horse, Country Grammar, Paul Pompa, passed away. And Paul, looking down on us, was one of the biggest supporters of racing, the nicest people in the world, and just so happy for all the connections that were involved in this horse from the very beginning to get here, because it takes an entire army to win on this night.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of work goes behind the scenes. Like you say, Jimmy Barnes walking in there, he's been an integral part of Bob Baffert's barn for years and years. But I think this is the greatest result, because it's the first year we got the crowds back in, and the greatest man, the man, Mr. Showtime, wins the race. So I don't think people were even bothered about the horse winning. It's more fact that Frankie's just won the World Cup.
He didn't hop off last time. It was a photo finish. He went back to the judge's room. He's 52. Eventually, these hop-offs are going to lead to some problems with his knees.
I'm just going to see how he lands this one.
It's all about if he takes his feet out before, he's doing a flying dismount. No way he won't on this horse, of course. And it's probably the biggest reception of the night, just beating Tig in that particular race. And it's all about Frankie. It really is. He has to get everyone out of the way before
I think he might get an extra bit of spring on this one.
There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Really brilliant. 189 wins here in the UAE for Frankie. Double on tonight following Lord North earlier on in that memorable Dubai turf dead heat.
It'd be interesting to see how many Group 1s Frankie's had. I think he could be, it must be a huge milestone. I think he's probably nearing 1,000 or something. He's just he's definitely had over 100. I think he's probably nearing 200. He's just been a marvellous servant. He's carried racing on his back for a long, long time. You know, when racing was down, Frankie picked it up. You know, and he was down on his feet. You know, a few years back when he lost the job with Godolphin. You know, and that just shows you what a true champion is. He was able to get himself back again with obviously the John Gosling stable.
Hold that thought. We're going to hear from Frankie Dettori himself after he's weighed in, of course.
Frankie Dettori, that was your fourth win in the race. First one in Medan, as they mentioned earlier. Take us through the run. It looked like it was one of the most patient rides I've seen in quite some time. You got it done.
Yeah, I've been studying the horse for a long time. I've been pestering Zidane and Bob to ride him. I knew he stayed very well. It was question mark about the favourite, but I'll be honest with you, at the half mile pole he lost me. The favourite got 3, 4, 5 lengths from me. I thought, well, sit quiet. Guy's second or third. Yeah. He's lots of money. I made him fill his lungs up again, and I saw the distraction of the first two. My fella knocked it down, and it was a surreal moment because inside the furlong pole I knew I won. Yeah. And just to take it all in, I thought, oh my God, at 51, win the 4th World Cup is so surreal.
And it looked like when during the stretch did you know within you were going to get there?
About this, my son.
Oh, congratulations!
I passed the quarter pole. I thought maybe I get him.
Yeah.
At the furlong pole, I thought I knew I had won because the first and second they were good. And
did you see how Charlie coming up the inside at all?
I did saw him, and I thought, well, it's between me and him. But my fella kept on galloping. He's got a massive stride, and he just kept to put one leg in front of the other, and he got to the line.
What did Jimmy and Bob tell you before the race, as far as like what to expect from him?
So with Bob.
Yeah.
Well, he's been ringing me at stupid hours. I got a missed call at 4 a.m. this morning, and I didn't answer. But he gave me plenty of info. He told me, be patient. The favourite's going to run off the fence, stay inside. I did. But in the straight, I was trying to find another leg, so I pulled him on the outside, and it worked.
Yeah, well done. Let's get your signature.
Frankie Dettori, the man again. 4 wins in the Dubai World Cup. 4 as well for Bob Baffert. 4 career wins for Country Grammar. What a lovely horse this is. A son of Tonalis, out of a mare who was a 6 furlong winner on the turf. Who'd have thought it?
These Tonalis run all day. It's what they do, and it's good for me because my value on my Philly Truth Hurst just went up, so that's good.
Yeah, this horse costs $110,000 over at Keeneland. He's a lovely horse, actually, isn't he? And his run in Saudi was so big, I just worried it left a mark, but it just shows. Listen to what connections say.
Well, and this is a horse that he hasn't had the easiest of times. Chad Brown had him for a while. He had a kind of on-again, off-again career. He had to go to Windstar Farm to prep for the sale after Mr. Pompa passed away, and he was purchased by Windstar, and they kept him and sent him to Bob Baffert. And when everything was going on with Life is Good and everything, Country Grammar actually went to the barn of Todd Pletcher, and Todd had him for a month before sending him back to Windstar. And at that point, Amar Zendin kind of bought into the horse and everything else. And it's one of those things to where everything kind of comes full circle. But Windstar, who co-owns this horse, they own Life is Good. They were so kind of excited about Life is Good all week. They're still going to end up walking away with their second Dubai World Cup as well.
Where did it go wrong for Life is Good then? Was it a stamina thing? What happened?
Had to be a stamina thing because Era at Ortiz had it so easy. I felt up front. The fractions were like Chad said, they were slower than, you know, we were talking about off air, and they were slower than when he won the Pegasus. So,
but is there something to be said on a free-running horse? Sometimes you overthink it and you slow it down too much. Just let him do his thing. We saw it with Nixco. When Nixco used to slow down, that was how he got beat. When Joel Rosario finally just let him go, and he'd go halves in 45, 46, he won the Breeders' Cup race. He won the Pegasus. Is this something where maybe Life is Good is at his best, just letting him do his thing?
Yeah, there is, and I'd agree with that. You know, there's a point where you do overthink it and you try and take a horse out of his comfort zone. But I didn't ever feel that he was taking him back. He just looked like he was in a relaxed rhythm. Whether, I'm not sure if this horse ever ran under lights or not either. So that could be a factor that he was just kind of, and you know, interestingly, his brother was just in behind him. He wasn't really taking him on too early. Yeah, it was just he was in the perfect place, and he had the race at his mercy. And like I say, I just think it's a stamina thing. And I would say ultimately he's going to be a very, very good miler. I think he might struggle to win over 2,000.
And is any of this to do with the fact that the track maybe isn't playing as it did earlier on when we had the UAE Derby?
Not really. This is a speed track, and it's still a speedier track. I mean, look, it's suited Country Grammar because obviously Saudi was a little bit deeper. I would agree that it's slightly quicker than it was earlier on because the temperature's dropped and it gets a bit cooler. But I don't think there was any excuses for. There was nothing in behind that you would say, oh, he should have. We were looking at Hot Rod Charlie and we thought he was beat, and he ended up staying on. And like Chad said, how he got down the fence, I don't know, because he looks spent force turning in.
He really did. He was being hard ridden for a while. Incidentally, on the question of Frankie in Group 1 wins, our producer Mohammed tells me that's his 200th.
There you go. What a way to get your 200th.
What a way to get your 200th.
I think he'll keep him going for another year anyway as well.
I don't think there's any sign of him going anywhere just yet, and thank heavens, because as Richie says, he's the most recognisable jockey in the world.
I think a big shout out as well, Laura, goes to Remorse. I said to Tig earlier in the day, I said, he'll pick up a check because he gallops all the way to the line. So by rights, he shouldn't, on all known form, he shouldn't be threatening anything. But he's ran sick, the Zabeel stable had a fantastic night.
And while it's a day for the international contingents that had so much success, Bhupat Simar, in his first try here as the trainer and the license in his name, walks away with a win in the Golden Shaheen, a 6th with Remorse for next year, and his horses in the UAE Derby showed up as well. I mean, Summer Forever running 2nd and Bendug running 4th is certainly something that you're going to look forward to. Look, the season's almost over here in Dubai. Bhupat's got time to think and relax and figure things out for the future. He's going to have a long career here.
He won't have a long career. Thinking or relaxing. He'll be straight off to the sales.
He won't be relaxing. But I think he'd have been under the back foot from the second race because their biggest ammunition was in the Godolphin Mile, and I think they were last and second last. So, for the things to turn around so quickly as they do in racing. But like I say, great night for everyone at Zabeel as well.
Wonderful to see our trophy presentation coming up in a moment, and Amir Zidane is here, which is fantastic, picking up the trophy from the Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum. Such a big part of racing here, sadly his own hypothetical out of the money in the Dubai World Cup, but Amir Zidane, say only his first runner here. He's got a polo team and does support a lot of things, and I was lucky enough to interview him last year, and what a gentleman, really lovely and extremely helpful with his time, which I appreciated. So big well done too. All connected with Country Grammar, winner of our 2022 Dubai World Cup. And it's going to be a while before we see another jockey beat Frankie's record and Jerry Bailey's record of 4 in the race, because Jerry, of course, no longer riding. There's Jimmy Barnes. A bit on him, Chad. He's been Bob Baffert's right-hand man for a long time.
No, his wife Dana was a cog in the operation as an exercise rider. Now she's since retired, but Jimmy has always stayed by Bob's side. They've had 2 Triple Crown winners together, 4 Dubai World Cup winners, countless others in between. I mean, it's been a partnership it's just easy. Bob Baffert can stay in California and know that everything is getting done the same exact way that it would be if Bob was here himself. That's so crucial to have when you have a team like that.
He knows how to get the crowd going. It's been a long time since we've seen this. 2006, my first World Cup actually. Electrocutionist was Frankie's last win in this race. Of course, won it on the Great Dubai Millennium as well. What an amazing, iconic trophy. One of few trophies that are instantly recognisable in the world of horse racing. And Frankie will be so on a high for days after this. We are getting a national anthem from America and the UAE, I believe. was, of course, the national anthem of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for Amir Zadan, the winning owner. And now we can hear the UAE national anthem. Wonderful scenes here at Meydan Racecourse. 2022 World Cup has felt like a proper World Cup. We didn't have the crowds last year, they're back this year. And this is a very popular winner. Bob Baffert came maybe not as popular as he once was, but he's still got an awful lot of fans, including me, to be honest, Chad. He was very kind to me when I went over there to watch Justify's Triple Crown. And he's, no matter what you think about him, he's able to produce them at home and over here in the UAE.
And that's not easy to do. I mean, we see here trainer Top Pletcher going to go back to the drawing board again. He thought he had the right horse to do it. He thought Life is Good was the one, and it just wasn't his day today. And maybe, like you said, maybe just the 10 furlongs just a little bit too far.
And you know Frankie very well, Richie, and he just still know how to celebrate this, won't he?
Oh, he knows how to celebrate. You know, like I say, we'll have to deal with him for another year. I think he'll keep him going, but he's just been fantastic for racing in general. Not only in the UK but worldwide. He's just like I say, at times he's carried racing on his back. He's self-promotes racing in Great Britain, in Europe, you know, worldwide. Everybody knows it. I mean, he's probably the only person in racing that is a household name. You know, he's had his ups and downs, but you know, like true champions, he's bounced back, and it's, you know, it's a great feel. A lot of people might write in now and argue with me, but I think it's a feel-good factor about this win. I mean, obviously people have got their own opinion about Bob Baffert, but you know, you've got to take your hat to him. The guy is a phenom, you know, with what he does. Tranky riding it, and we were just seeing there when Jimmy Barnes collected the trophy, it was very emotional. It was an emotional thing for him because he's been an integral part of that outfit. So he's been there when things are going bad and when, you know, Bob's been under pressure, obviously, with what's been going on. So it affects people in different ways, and you know, people have lives to live, and they have people outside of racing as well. So, you know, it's a great win, and like I say, you know, Chad says the horse was in Top Pletcher's, but there's always a story behind a big win, and like I say, the whole night has just had that feel-good factor, from Tig winning the Golden Shaheen to Frankie winning his 200th Group 1, back where it all started, really, in the Emirates, you know.
And behind us, it's safe to say that the Hot Rod Charlie people are okay with second. We have the Let's Go Chuck chants starting behind, even though they've run second.
Well, that's what they were saying. I thought they were saying, let's get something.
No,
let's go Chuck. Okay, that's better.
That's been their go-to. They carried it through the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont, the Breeders' Cup, and they've now the boat racing guys that own a piece of Hot Rod Charlie. They're young kids and they love it.
Chad, Rich, it's been wonderful to have you with us. We're going to pause for a while and bring you what I'm sure will be a spectacular closing ceremony to this 2022 Dubai World Cup. Well, they've kept it quite strictly under wraps, what we're going to see, but Mohammed Issa, the general manager of Dubai Racing Club, said to me last week it'll be something like you've never seen before. So we'll bring all that to you here on Dubai Racing Channel as we take our helicopter shots from this fantastic track, which has really felt like it's been back in business this evening. A lot of people crammed in here, and 1.2 kilometres from one end to the other, and there'll be a fair bit of celebrating going on tonight, notably in the Japanese corner. I'd have thought, after their fantastic 5 wins. I guess that has been the story, hasn't it? The Japanese dominance, I suppose we can say.
It's kind of been a continuation, though. I mean, we saw this in the Breeders' Cup with their 2 wins, the 4 wins in Dubai, and now what do you call it? 5, 4.5, whatever you want to call it. call them winners.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. They did so well over in Saudi. Of course, there's more races to plunder here, but still, they've just shown they've got so much versatility. They can do it on the dirt, they can do it on the turf, they can stay, they can sprint. They've done less of that tonight, but still, absolutely brilliant. And it has been a really international night as well, of course, Richie. We had the winner for Qatar with the Arabians right at the start. We've had the British win with Lord North. We've had 10 winners on a 9-race card, which is unusual.
Yeah, exactly. It has, like you say, you know, kicked off with the Qatari horse that obviously has a French connection. Then they kicked off with the Japanese winning the mile, and then, you know, it just seemed to be a continuation of Japanese domination. And then obviously great for local trainers, you know, Boopet, first season training with the license under his name, first Group 1 for Tig. That was just a real good feel-good factor about it. You know, I'm forgetting the Alquois sprint, Ronan Wheeler and Ado McGuinness, you know, great feel-good factor there. I mean, the horse won the Prix de l'Abbé, ran here Super Saturday. Ado McGuinness has been here all carnival, prepping this horse for this night. And, you know, Ronan Wheeler is a young jockey with a huge future. So it's great for him to get his I think it's probably his second Group 1 after he won the Abbé. Then it continued with French domination again, Japanese domination again. Frankie tried to get in on the act with a half a point, and then he caps it off with you know, Bob Baffert, Frankie Dettori. You know, it's been a great night.